To Spain now, where authorities are continuing to battle wildfires in what has become one of the most destructive fire seasons in decades. Thousands of firefighters, as well as soldiers, have been deployed to beat back the blazes. Some of the worst fires have hit the northwestern region of Galicia. Other countries have sent help, such as this Dutch emergency crew, which was forced to retreat from particularly fierce flames. Dropping temperatures are offering some relief, but the region remains under very high or extreme fire risk. And for more on the situation, we can speak to DW correspondent Nicole Riss. And Nicole, first of all, tell us more about the current situation in the Asturias, where you are.
Well, here in Asturias, over the course of the past week, we have seen over a dozen of wildfires spread throughout the region. Some of them are actually not far away from where I am, around 40 to 60 kilometers away, in the famous mountains of Picos de Europa, which meant that also routes have been closed down. Hundreds of people have been evacuated from their villages to make sure that they're safe, and firefighters are currently still trying to control these blazes. And we also got a bit of a feel of how close it can get pretty quick when the sky here out of the sudden turned orange and ashes started falling down. So this gives you an idea of how quickly the situation could change as well. This was obviously due to the wind that brought smoke over this patch where I am. And when I'm talking to people here in the villages, of course, there is worry that fires might spread, that they also might be affected. So the situation here is calm but tense where I am.
After 16 days, I believe, of a searing heat wave, temperatures have now dropped a few degrees, but there's still no rain. Has the fact, though, that it's a little cooler, has that helped to contain the wildfires to an extent?
Well, the drop in temperatures, of course, is the big hope, and that there is hope that this will help firefighters to tackle the blazes. Nevertheless, there's of course still wind, and this can change the situation quite quickly and make putting out these fires very difficult. And rain is not so much forecast for example, the northwest of Spain and Galicia, where fires are really horrendous. And the big thing here is, of course, we're looking at fires that we haven't seen in over 20 years. This is a very dramatic year in terms of wildfires here in Spain. An area as big as the island of Mallorca has been affected by the flames. Over 30,000 people have been evacuated in connection with these wildfires. Several have died, several are injured. And this pretty much gives you an idea of how severe this year really is in terms of wildfires. And of course, for people in the villages who have felt that there is not so much help for them, they had to tackle them themselves sometimes. So it's very difficult to predict when this is going to stop for once. But on the other hand, it's also I think certain to say that it will take a long time for people and regions to recover from these blazes.
And let's talk about the causes. The Spanish Prime Minister visited the affected areas on Tuesday. He was talking about how the climate is changing, about the climate emergency. Is climate change driving these fires, making them particularly fierce?
Well, climate change and the extreme long heat waves here in Spain, the last one just lasted 2.5 weeks, are one of the big factors that play into the equation. Of course, it's very dry, fires spread easily, and it's difficult to tackle them then, but there are also other factors. For example, a lack of management in some of the abandoned regions here in the country where there's abundant vegetation and there's no one who cuts, for example, fire breaks, be it with their cattle or be it on purpose by firefighters. This makes fires more dangerous and more easy to spread. And there's also one other factor, of course, which is arson, be it intentional or unintentional. Over 20 people have been arrested over the course of the past weeks here in Spain in connection with wildfires. They're suspected to have laid fires by accident or even on purpose. So this is also obviously one of the drivers.
DW's Nicole Riss reporting from Spain. Thank you, Nicole.